Once upon a time, two men decided if they were making the cut. Then they made the cut. And now JT and Aaron are talking everything from wrestling to pop culture and beyond, because it's no holds barred.
Will you back down, turn and run, or stand up with the best? When your back to the wall, what will your answer be? Will you run for the door? Will you run out on me like it's hard?
It's Backlash 2000, a no holds barred.
Hey, now, is it just that no one gives a fuck about the no holds barred theme? Is that why we never get pinged for anything?
I was trying to see if you thought I froze, but no, you didn't. Did I hold that okay? Did I?
You did. You were pretty good, but
did I pretty good? Okay.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I thought Billy Ocean sang it, so you think it would?
There's no way Billy Ocean sang. Michael Lanning is the man's name.
Michael McDonald.
Michael
no
Lanning.
holds barred.
Is he related to Paul Bearer?
Oh yes. Now I just want to see like famous '80s artists sing "No Holds Barred." Now that's all I want. Little Kenny
Who else can sing
Loggins.
it? Loggins, Jackson, Michael Jackson would be all right. What would be the biggest get? It's 1989. Who's the big? John Bon Jovi maybe would be a pretty big
Bon
get.
Jovi would be good. Billy Idol.
Yeah. If they could wait a bit, they could get Green Day in the 90s. No holds barred.
Little Smash
I got
Mouth.
something in
Hootie.
my nose.
Could do
Hootie
Hootie.
in the blow. Hard to say what it is. No holds barred. Michael Lanning. I've never heard of this man before.
I think he was in Stairway to Heaven, wasn't he?
The
Bonanza?
song or the stairway.
Bonanza? No, what was that show? Seventh Heaven? No, what was the one with Michael Landon? Wasn't it Stairway to Heaven?
Highway to Heaven.
Highway to Heaven.
Apparently, Michael Landon thinks heaven is on the same plane as us and can be reached by highway.
It's my rules, the body rules, or the Highway to Heaven.
The Highway to Heaven match.
Not a good start. But here we are, No Holds Barred. Every single Saturday we're here with this tomfoolery. Three times a month. 3 times a month we are running through our project, trying to determine the greatest WWE World Title change of all time. And once a month we're doing all-time WWE pay-per-view build the cards. And of course, that'll be our next episode a week from today, going through the Survivor Series / November build a card. I'm already having popsicle headaches thinking about it right now.
Stupid.
Listen, this show is simulcast video and audio on any podcast application under Notes Out Connection, and on video right here, Notes Out Connection on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to either so you don't miss a thing, because there are a lot of simulcast shows. We also have exclusives, Aaron, because we're also here like every 3 Wednesdays a month with What If.
Yeah. We're all over this fucking thing. If you hate us, you're going to hate this channel.
That's almost like we created it. So,
yeah.
It's all us.
But yeah, there's a lot of us. But if you like our quality, let us know. If you want us to change stuff, let us know too. We might listen. I don't know. It depends on the mood, I suppose.
But we do crowdsource our what ifs. So be sure to leave if you have good what if ideas. We do take those.
It's because we're not creative people.
No, we rely on others.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, outsource.
Others smarter than us. So in these title changes that we've been doing for God knows how long here, we're out of 99, which is nice. Even the last one felt like 99. And we rate these matches in 5 categories. And that's match quality, significance, the moment, build, and aftermath. We each give a score out of 10. That gives us a nice round score out of 100. Nice and easy to understand. Top one right now is sitting at 94. Bottom one, 16. And interesting one tonight to see where it's going to land, because this is considered by many a great match. And we'll see kind of how it plays out here.
And the tiebreaker is most gunfights won on the Ponderosa during the stretch of Bonanza.
Yes. Or if your name's Michael Lanning, you win.
Or Haas.
Please don't sue us, Michael Lanning, for using the No Holds Barred.
I wish you'd come on. It'd be fun.
Oh, what an interview. So what was your thought process? Well, Vince McMahon screamed at me for an hour about...
He said, it's got to be about Bards being a no holds.
Yeah. And who's the man with the crooked eye that's been staring at me all night? Oh, that's Tiny. He's not looking at you. Don't worry.
I was going to make a Harry Potter reference.
Is Tiny Lister in Harry Potter?
Yeah, he played Mad Eye Moody.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that was it. Was he in whiteface for that? Because that's offensive.
Tonight we are watching Backlash 2000. The Rock challenging Triple H, and we are on Peacock at 217.20, and on the Columbia Network. Where are we at?
Yeah, we're at 217.01, and we are fucking hyped up in Columbia.
Yeah, we are pretty pumped. It's Columbia with an O, not a U, not the university, the country.
Columbia.
So, well, let's get into it, then we'll talk. But there's a lot going on in this one. So here we go. Let's start in 3, 2, 1, play. So Shane O'MacDaddy is in the ring, shadow boxing. He's the special ref. The ref announced was Stone Cold Steve Austin, but I forget the shenanigans that went on around this. He's just not there yet. We'll see him eventually, but that was a big selling point for the show. And I recall this was really the first time, Aaron did justice, that they held off on like a big Mania, a big moment for Backlash over Mania. Because Triple H versus The Rock in a singles match with Stone Cold as the referee screams WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I remember the chatter being they knew WrestleMania was going to get a big number because they were red hot and they wanted to pop a number for Backlash. So by doing that, they figured, okay, let's save the first singles match for Backlash and have Steve Austin's big return. He had been off TV since Survivor Series 99, so he had not been on at all. So this is a big moment. They did. I think he might have been on the SmackDown before this, where they destroy the bus. He destroys the DX bus with the
drops that shit on them.
Yeah. So I think that was actually his first appearance, but I think that was a pre-tape. I think this is his actual first in-arena appearance since the injury. Stephanie seems to have grown up quite a bit just since our last episode on January 3rd, 2000.
She's done her hair different.
Yeah, she's got the power dress on, so she's a little bit more business-like versus like
the women's champion, for fuck's sake.
That title change is one of my favorite moments when she
Who does she beat?
It's Jackie, I think.
Okay.
And it's like such a fun moment. She beats her and she's like shocked. DX helps her win and she's like shocked, and they have her up on her shoulders and parading around. And then Kane's music hits because I think he had been off for a little bit after the
shit hit the fan,
and everyone's like, "What the fuck?" They almost drop her because like the lights go off and the fire goes up.
Yeah.
And then when she loses it is a great moment too. Lita beats her, and it's like a huge pop and moment, and that's a really good. Her women's title reign is really good. It's like she doesn't wrestle much, but it's just like we talked about last episode. Her character is awesome in 2000.
Yeah, and I like Vince being out there too in this smug like.
Yeah,
it makes a little bit less sense considering the beating Triple H laid on him at Armageddon, but
yeah, well, they had come together right now. They're going to rule this. I love this era of Raw and of WWF TV with the McMahon Helmsley regime, with The Rock trying to fight them off almost on his own. And Undertaker comes back soon to help him, but
I guess I was always really missing Steve Austin at this point watching it live.
Yeah, but it's not like that it's not pushing him. He's just hurt.
Well, but that's what I mean is that the show still, like, I wasn't as into it because I felt the show was missing that something.
Right. I just like I mean, for better or worse, it does start a bad habit because this is where they start the trend of opening Raw with the 20-minute promo. This is really where it begins. Like the whole McMahon, every week on Raw, the McMahon Helmsley regime would come out first. And Vince would talk, Triple H would talk, X-Pac, they'd all fucking talk. So this really kicks off like the big. But it's one of the rare times the McMahons are like all together as like a heel group.
Was Lyndon?
And I thought it worked well. After watching Succession as well, like I just view all things McMahon through the lens of the Roy family now.
Right.
It just works well when you look at it that way. Like this is the season where Logan and the kids are all kind of getting together, you know?
Yeah.
The comparisons are eerie, like not to I guess spoil it. So
no, don't spoil it. I haven't watched it, but I haven't seen the last season. But yeah, I see.
So I won't spoil it. But there's the correlation to the end of that show and where WWE is, like all that is very similar. That's all I'll say.
Oh, I buy it. I mean, look, even as with the knowledge I have of the show, watching them go through the corporate changes, it's exactly that. And this weird power play between Shane and Vince and Stephanie leaving and like,
yeah,
Vince is such a fucking maniac.
Yeah, I mean, he basically fucked his family out of the family business because he wanted to come back, and it was his way back was to sell the company. Crazy enough.
What? Yeah, it's insane. I wonder if they hate him.
I think Stephanie legit hates him now. It's my guess. Shane, who knows? I mean, he kind of like brought Shane back and gave him a run, and Shane kind of self-destructed on his own. But I think Stephanie's pretty pissed. Like, I think she really believes, I think, in the powerful feminist viewpoint, and she did not like the Vince trial stuff and lawsuits and all that and harassment claims. And as soon as he came back, she left. So like, there's definitely going to be something going on, right?
And then there's these rumors about Triple H and Stephanie too. Have you read
Well,
those?
those have actually been around for quite a while. That they've been separated. I had heard stuff for at least a year ago that they were like already separated.
Did Triple H choose Vince?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. Or unless they've just been having problems anyway. But I mean, he's off. All right, fuck. What are we doing? All right, so Triple H versus The Rock.
We have a long match.
Moment.
It's a long match, so
I know we got time.
Rock's sideburns feel like they could slice a fucking apple. Like they're so like pointy.
They're tight.
Yeah,
I love the intensity here. Rock is pissed. This has been really well built. So let's wind back to 1998. We have DX versus the Nation.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Oh, we can go 97, where Rocky Maivia beats Hunter S. Helmsley, which is a recent episode of Wrestling Warzone here. We do that every other Monday, going through the Monday Night Wars, me and Shaq Hamill. Rocky Maivia defeats Hunter S. Helmsley for the IC belt. That kind of starts it. They don't really cross paths for a while. And I guess if you really want to be specific, Survivor Series 96, Rock's debut, they're in opposite sides.
They're in the same match. That's right.
Yeah, so that really starts it. He beats him for the IC belt. They don't really cross paths again until 98 when the Nation starts to feud with DX. So they have a match that summer and at Fully Loaded, and you can feel both guys kind of coming up. Rock is an established IC title guy. Triple H is always like a little bit, like a few months behind where he's at, right? So even though Triple H had been an IC title guy, Rock is like a main event level IC title guy in 98. So Triple H is rising up.
Yeah,
they have an awesome match
too big for the belt at that point. Yeah.
Yes. They have an awesome match at SummerSlam, ladder match, Triple H wins. They take a break again from each other. They come back into a circle with the corporate ministry in after Mania 15 when Triple H joins. They're together for a little bit. Yeah. Rock turns. Then they have a next level feud, which so if 97 is like low level IC, 98 is main event IC, almost main event level IC. 99 is like gatekeeper
low level
to the main event. Yeah, I mean that's where they're at, right? They're trying to fight for the number one contendership. Rock had already been world champion. Triple H hadn't. So again, Triple H always seems to have to go through Rock at this point to get there. Yeah. And now they're the two top dogs of the WWF. So this story, the build, like I guess I'm trying to get into the build category early, but the build to this is really good. Like the story is sharp, and they fought. WrestleMania kind of got screwy. Rock was supposed to fight Triple H. Big Show felt he deserved to be in the match after the Rumble stuff. Mick Foley got put in. Rock loses there. And the McMahon-Helmsley regime is gaining even more power. So now Rock has to go through all of them. And Austin gets put in here as well. So like this is going to be the feud of the next few months. Yeah. And it's
then we never see it series again, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's just it.
Like,
well, I mean, Triple H gets hurt and really misses the Rock's last year. Yeah. And then Rock is super part-time after that. So.
Yep. And then they teased that a few years ago when they had that backstage segment. But like at that point, I don't really want to see that match. Like
we don't need to see it again. We've seen it enough. It's not like a dream match or anything. We're good.
We know Rock's better, and that's the end of it.
So I mean, this match, I think it's like a bit of a forgotten gem because I think you always remember the Iron Man. I think probably more like when you first think of the series. But the crowd here is insane. The intensity is really good, and the end is great, as we'll get to.
This is probably the last pay-per-view of 2000 I watch until No Mercy live, because I went on a tour and I just didn't have access anymore.
Right.
And so like everything was happening in that summer, and I was like, what? Like just missing all of it. So I remember watching this live, and I remember liking it. When I watched it a few years ago, I didn't like it that much. We'll see how it stands up tonight.
Yep.
Rock is so good though. Like,
oh yeah,
he's just so good at everything.
Even Vince,
except humility.
Vince is whipping him into the post was great.
Yeah,
into the ring, and I mean this is like pure the McMahon. We talked about it last episode. Like they are just over the top. We don't give a shit. We control everything. Like Shane, the ref, literally just hugged Triple H after his dad assaulted the Rock at ringside. And countered a near fall for him.
Well, they were doing the thing where like Shane couldn't see, like to pretend.
Right.
Is Rock Vince never fought Rock, did he? Did he fight him on Raw?
I feel like they have a match at some point. They do at King of the Ring. They do the 6-man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But
Rock feels like one of those guys who like Vince never had that big pay-per-view match with.
I guess that's the one. I mean, we'll talk about it when we do that episode. It'll be on 2 from this one, but he beats him, right? I think he pins Vince to win the title.
Okay.
In that match.
And why would Vince not? What's the storyline reason for Vince not wanting Rock to be the champion, considering he wanted him to be the corporate champion a year and a half earlier?
Triple H is his son-in-law now, so he's got to pick sides.
I guess, yeah. And he's not making the same disgusted faces as he was at Mankind.
Rock turned his back on him. I mean, the whole McMahon arc past the end of an era is a little. I think it's
nonsensical.
I mean, I guess we'll get to it eventually in Wrestling Warzone someday in the next decade. But I'm like curious to see how it holds up, the week-to-week story of him coming back. Like, we've covered a little bit through this show. It's probably the most that we've really dove into it. But like, he leaves as the hated heel with the First Blood, comes back, he's a face. Then he comes back as turns at Mania. I'm curious if they explain it at all.
Yeah. Just before I forget, awesome segment there where Triple H goes for a pin, Rock kicks out, and then he keeps trying to pin him again. Yes. I'm always a sucker for that spot.
Yep.
My favorite one of those is Sid and The Undertaker in WrestleMania 13, where Sid eventually loses it and goes, "God damn it!"
The only highlight of that match.
But Brett getting beat up.
This makes sense because Shane you have a crooked ref in your pocket. So why wouldn't you keep covering on the hopes that maybe one of the times Shane does the fast count that we've seen a bunch and you win? So
Triple H slowing things down with a sleeper now.
I love this era in this feud as well because I feel like it almost goes to your point of like everyone missed Austin and saw like, can they be as good? Can they survive without Austin? Was a question at this time.
Yeah.
And I feel like these two dudes were like out to prove a fucking point that they could carry this promotion, that Rock could be the guy, that Triple H could be his foil, and that we didn't need Austin to be a successful company. And 2000 is arguably like of the old days before they got into this money-making machine with the rights fees and everything else, like their biggest, most successful year. I mean, it's 2000. Yeah. So, they're on top.
The Radicals coming in really help because like they just completely revamped the undercard.
Yep.
And your main event is so solid. Like it's almost like they swapped, right? Like it's like WCW always had the problem of like the undercard's great, but the main events, mind you, I'm liking them watching them, but like they're not viewed well, right? The main events. Whereas WWF main events were good, but the undercard was shit. They get those 4 guys and Taz and Angle, and now it's just
Jericho.
a whole different show. In Jericho,
And even the tag division coming up because those guys all become like main eventers. The Dudleys, Edge and Christian, the Hardys. When you watch Raw in 2000, they're in main events almost every week. Like they have 6-mans and different stuff. Like those are that's like the most main event level the tag teams ever are is 2000. Like those 3 teams are top dogs.
It might be the most over an entire roster has ever been.
Yeah.
Because like I'm thinking about it now and it's like, okay, well then there's Rikishi, who was like the most over guy in the roster, right? With Brian Christopher
Undertaker,
was over.
Kane. Yeah, too cool. Like up and down the card, everyone is.
And even the women, Lita was super over. Like, like Trish was getting over.
Foley comes back as commissioner, but even early in the year, he's super over.
The hardcore division as a whole is over.
Yeah, they're doing all the 24/7 stuff, which is a lot of fun.
New
Crash,
and different. Yeah,
it's a great year. I mean, it has a reputation it has for a reason, right? I mean, it's really great weekly episodic TV.
It's not a great pay-per-view year.
No, they really struggle to deliver on the pay-per-views.
Yeah. And I'm curious why, because all the talent's there, right?
Yeah. I don't know if they overthought it. Like King of the Ring, they overthink. King of the Ring, that could have been the best one of the best pay-per-views ever, and they just completely overthought it.
And they could have just done the tournament. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
You didn't even need any other matches based on that talent.
Right. I mean, you got Bull Buchanan in there. Like, it just made no sense. Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
I always love concerned Vince and when he's ringside at a match. We saw it with Rock and Foley in '99. He's always kind of, what's going on over there?
I've always really been a fan of short skirt Stephanie also.
This may be like a top 5 Steph outfit.
With the curled out hair too.
She's got like the backlist with just the strings.
Look, let's not keep this on one side. Triple H's pecs look like mighty saucers.
He looks great. The hair is
he
good.
really does look great. Actually, he's in really top shape here.
2000.
I still struggle to think why she would marry him when he acts the way he acts.
Yeah.
He's growling and spitting water. Like, you don't want that around the house.
2000 Triple H. Like if you just know the Triple H of now, like you had to be there. Like he was a favorite of like the internet and everyone. Like they loved him. He was like a work rate god. Like during that stretch, like all over the internet. Most I'm sure there's there were sections that probably still hated him, but there's like he was over and he was like like one of the best workers in the world in 2000.
But he hadn't gained any power yet.
Right.
Like the knock on Triple H is always that like he's great as long as he's not involved.
Right.
He's a great booker in NXT because he's not involved in the product, right?
Yeah.
And that hadn't started yet. Like here he was just, think what you want about his work rate. I actually think it's pretty good here. Pretty great, actually.
He's awesome in 2000.
The matches play that out completely. But you don't feel like it's by 2000, as contrast to 99, you don't feel like he's in an unearned position on the card.
No, definitely not.
Like
he's the top heel. There's no one else you would say is like maybe Benoit by the summer when like everyone's kind of ready to push him up, but he's just not at the level that Triple H is at.
He's not as interesting as a character as Triple H.
Yeah.
Now, you can also do the flip side of that and say Triple H was given much more, and it's true he was, but he made the most of what he was given. So
even though I love that little Shane stable in the summer. It's so forgotten. Yeah. Angle, Benoit, Edge, and Christian with Shane is like so much fun.
But how long was it? Like 3 weeks? Like
it's short. It's real short.
Yeah.
I think Shane is with Benoit for a bit, but like that little stable with all of them is quick.
Right. Triple H. It's post 02. That's
the injury really derails him. We should do a what if on that. Like, what if he doesn't tear his quad? Because we kind of talked about it previously, like what would he have done in the invasion and all that. So what we have done in the invasion and would his work rate have diminished? Because when he comes back in 2002,
he's not as good.
He's not the same, but he's still great when he gets hurt. Like, WrestleMania 17 is good. He has the 3 stages of Hell and No Way Out. It's great.
And how
tag
long
match? He's awesome in the tag match with Benoit and Jericho.
Yeah, but then how long could he have maintained that work rate? Being the age that he's not that old here, but he's not that young either, right? Like
I think he could have held up because I really think, the quad tear set him back. He puts out a ton more muscle, upper body muscle. Maybe he stays lean if he just sticks around into 01.
I wish Triple H had the same view of doing business that The Rock does. I think if he did, even with the work rate descending, people would be much less hard on him.
It's the inherent jealousy is the problem. We've talked about it.
But he's not as good. Like it's clear.
Right. It is the jealousy that he's not. And the infamous Daniel Bryan B+ player is him projecting, right? He's the ultimate. Maybe I'll give him an A-, but he's not the A+ player he wants to be.
I think he's a B+ player with the potential of having A+ matches and A+ storylines. But when you put all his stuff together, there's nowhere near as much good as you would think.
No, he's a slightly behind the Undertaker type of version, like that. Like Taker's got so much bad with the good.
Yeah,
but whereas guys like Rock and Austin really don't have that dip, but they also have shorter runs. If Rock is around from 96 till 2000, and once Triple H done as a full timer, really 2010, 2011. If he never leaves, like, does he lose some luster?
Maybe a bit, but it's the luster on Triple H. It has nothing to do with his. It maybe has something to do with his work rate, but it has so much more to do with his impact on the business. It's that 2002 to 2005 run. That's what kills him in everybody's minds, and they're right to do so because it's terrible. Like, not that there aren't great matches, not that there aren't things that are good in there, but as a whole, we leave 2005 with the business in way worse shape than it was in 2002.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming all that on him, but he doesn't have
a big part of it. So Shane's really been sticking it to Rock. He refused to count a 3 count. Now we get an awesome spot. The Rock bottoms Triple H and Shane through the announce table. That looked awesome. Vince's face is great. So Shane didn't count a clear pin cover from The Rock. So Rock
Yeah.
finally was like, "Fuck you." He beat him up in the ring, and now he did that. Stephanie's aghast.
Yeah.
Shane is dead.
Shane should be dead. I mean, 2 men fell on him.
He should not get up again the rest of this match.
No.
I mean, that was like a brutal bump.
Yeah. I mean, Rock was hurt by it. So like,
Yeah. I don't have the
crowd
volume
went
up enough.
crazy.
I want to hear that. I need to hear the crowd more.
I went crazy when they.
And this is peak King and JR too. Like in big match settings, 98 to 2000, puppy stuff, bullshit aside. I mean, and JR and Heyman are way better, but JR and King for these couple of years, when they had the big match without the horny shit, and it's just like it being in the moment and flipping out, like they're.
I also really like that, like Austin's, like Ross. I tend when Austin's there, I know he's going to come, but he tends to go a little bit overblown because he's such a fan, right? Whereas with The Rock and Triple H, he can just kind of lean back and be a great commentator,
right?
As opposed to a cheerleader.
The Rock.
Yeah, Shane should not get up ever again. I producer Tim mentioned it earlier, but I really love that set with the hooks. So good looking.
Do you think this should have been the Mania main event?
Yes. I mean, the whole year's looked at differently if this is the main event. You know what I mean? Like, because here's the thing is that in theory, the 4-way is a bigger match.
Right.
So you could use that to sell this show, something they've never done before. McMahon in every corner, you know, like.
Right. Yeah. We talked about this on War, like what they could have done with Big Show. Should they have just done a 3-way? Because Big Show deserved something, you know? Like, I forget where we landed on it, but.
I think the Austin injury is the problem. Because there's no dance partner for him.
Right.
Like, I think that's what ends up happening. Because Foley's not big enough. He wrestled him the year before. The only other thing I could see happening is if you do Rock Big Show at Mania and you run Foley's last. You do the Hell in the Cell at Mania with Triple H.
Yeah, with Triple H. Here we go.
February.
Patterson and Briscoe.
Hey, Patterson's wearing the same pants as that ref from WCW. What's his name?
No, he's wearing the same pants as the guy I worked with. Those are what they looked like. Look at Briscoe. This is like the rebirth of the Stooges because they kind of went away for a little bit. Well, they were faced with Stephanie in the test thing.
Yeah.
And they had done the Real American where they were ripping the shirts off and all that. JR, the iconic line, he's single fellas when Pat rips off the shirt and poses.
That's right. Joe Briscoe has lost his ability to deliver stomps. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
he's old. I mean, it's
too much time at the body shop.
Did you ever call that number?
No, I don't think I did actually.
I
probably did.
I called it for like 3 weeks straight and was like, put Mr. McMahon on the phone.
They probably got so many fucking. I wonder if they had a separate line just for that. They had to have.
Yeah, or they put one in very quickly after.
Yeah, because they must have gotten crushed with calls.
Do you think it was a rib? Do you think he didn't know and then Vince put the number?
I mean, it's kind of brilliant because you probably get some business out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they also got crushed with crank calls.
I know I did it.
You're not the only Canadian prick.
No.
Well, Vince, fucking Vince falls over the.
He falls over the rock. Yeah, and you can see they're really stacking the deck so heavy here that something has to give.
And you can almost feel the calm before the Austin Storm in the crowd. Like,
yeah.
And they keep doing this long shot. They're getting ready for it. Like, to run back to January 4th, 99, like that wide shot of the crowd.
Yeah.
Like getting ready for the glass.
See how the pop compares.
I know. I'm going to turn it up.
Because what I remember is Austin doesn't.
It's a big one.
Yeah, it's big. It's not as big, but why is Vince acting surprised?
Not as big as Austin's gut.
No.
I'd have to run it back and see why he wasn't there to start the match. If something happened, he is like in rough shape here.
I think it's better to have him not start the match, truth be told.
Oh, he couldn't. Look, I mean, he's in bad shape. Like, you could tell he's not really moving great. He's overweight.
Yeah.
But it's fine. He had neck surgery. He couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, that. And what's he going to do the whole match? He's going to call it down the middle? Absolutely not.
What a shot to Shane.
He just destroyed his head. I think Vince tried to get the way he lands on Vince after Vince is on
great. Just yelling in his face.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This chair shot's great to Triple H too. Boom.
Yeah, they just didn't give a fuck about concussions at all.
No, definitely not.
Just hit him with a chair. Doesn't matter.
No, we don't see him again until like October or September, whatever.
He doesn't even count the fall. He just leaves.
Here comes Linda with Hebner.
Oh, with Earl, because Earl got fired for giving Jericho the title.
I love the nod to Stone Cold from Linda. How you doing, Steve?
Hi.
The
fucking later.
What a sweater on Linda. Here we go. She got knocked Steph down. Because Steph had slapped her. Yeah, there you go. Sit down.
Weakest shove I've ever seen. And I fight my
It's not as
children.
bad as the stunner on Linda. Remember that Raw in 05?
That's right. Where Linda was a heel?
Yeah, stupid. Where he stuns all the McMahons.
Yeah. Is this all going to just come down to a people's elbow?
Oh, it has to.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm surprised not a rock bottom or rock bottom on a chair.
It drove me nuts, the people's elbow during this time. Like, it's so stupid.
I mean, I guess I kind of buy it because he took the chair shot, but like,
come on, Earl, get in there.
It's like after everything that's happened in this match, this feels like the wrong move to finish on.
Whatever. How can you argue with that pop?
Oh, huge, yeah, massive.
I'm torn. Like, it would have been great at Mania all time, but like, there's something about putting it here in this special show. Like, the crowd is tighter. It's I get their logic that Mania is going to be Mania, and Backlash we can get a big rating by doing Austin. And I don't know if Austin was ready for Mania either. He might not even be able to do that like a month earlier.
No, but I mean, you could have had him be the ref of the 4-way. You could have done.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he could have. I don't know if he was ready for Mania.
Well, when you're asking me if this should have been the main event of Mania,
Right.
What I'm saying is they could have run Triple H Rock as the main event and have Triple H retain the same way, and have the Rock win the 4-way here. Like, you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
It just makes Mania, because the problem with that Mania is not only the main event, it's that there's no other singles matches on the card.
Right. Well,
massive pop. Great.
This is a good one. You know, I had. It was in my head that this could be a contender, so I'm curious how it breaks down, because this is like a sneaky one, not for the top spot, but I think we have a sneaky potential top 10er right here.
Yeah, we'll see. So I'm actually torn on match quality because I'm somewhere in the realm of 3.5 stars to 3 3/4. I'm not at the 4 for it. So
7.
Yeah, but it almost feels low at 7, but it's for me, it's too high at 8.
Yeah, no,
So
I think 7's about right.
Yeah,
but it's going to be enough, I think, with the other intangibles. The only thing is significance does take a beating here because he loses it a month later.
Yeah.
So it's not a significant win for The Rock. It is significant in that it's not his first one, right? It's significant that he defeats the McMahon-Helmsley regime. It's Austin's first sighting since the injury. So it's like an important moment, but it's not like a significant reign. So I'm going to go 4, which is a little generous, but again, like, it's the first dent in the McMahon-Helmsley regime. Rock, it's also, you could say it's Rock's crowning as the guy, winning the belts on pay-per-view, beating Triple H and being the man for 2000.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's his crowning as I think he's already the guy, which I know is weird because normally he was already viewed at that level before coming in. And I don't think this is his crowning because he loses it the next month. I think it's actually in June. So yeah, I think all that said, I think I'm at a 3 for the significance. I just don't think it's that significant. Moment's got to be pretty high though. I think
I'm going 8.
Yeah, 8 feels right.
The big pop for Austin. Oh, he's coming back with the truck with the bus. Now I don't know if you kept it on. He's towing the DX Express out with his truck.
Yeah.
So he's not gone yet. It's a great moment. I thought, he comes out. The pop is huge. The chair shots were all well delivered. It felt good. The crowd is going insane. People's elbow gets a monster pop.
The only bad part is Linda.
She was right.
No, she's there's like I'm not gonna knock it for it, but like
but she had to bring out Earl. Who else?
Sure, but there's nothing. She's such a bad performer that like it does ding it a little bit.
I know you turned it off, but it's an 8. Like, him and Rock are now doing like a beer bash in the ring together to close the show. So again, it feels a little bit like a passing of like the top guy torch, but also I'll be back for you kind of moment. Like, it's yours for now, which plays into a year later, right?
Yeah,
you're holding it for me, but I'll be back.
Yeah. So now you'll have to remind me on build. In the build for this, I don't know how long it's been since you watch it. Did they reference all the stuff we talked about earlier?
I don't know. Honestly.
I don't think so.
But I still think it's inherently in their history, and it was pretty recent in '99 that they had that other feud.
Yeah.
So I don't. But they may have. Because they were pretty good about it at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because to me, the build it's Rock chase. So Rock, I mean, in theory, this title win, the build. Let's just ignore the other history for 1 second. We talk about it later, but like this title win is really from the Rumble, right?
Right.
It's Rock not really winning the Rumble, losing to Big Show, going into a disappointing 4-way and losing again, getting fucked, and then finally winning here.
But I like all the McMahon Helmsley regime stuff because they've really built a head of steam since Armageddon into here.
I do too.
They've been completely dominant. Rock's been screwed a few times. They introduce Austin. You get him destroying the bus, which is part of the build. Rock, Linda putting him back in the match. Vince, or I should say Vince putting him back in the match. Vince turns on him. The promos leading up to this were all really good. This is like where they're all over TV, setting it up. So, I mean, and I think you can bake in a little bit of the history. I think the history at least is there for them.
I want them at least to reference it tertiary. Like
they may on. I mean, there's so much TV. I'm guessing like we have a history together. Like it had to have come up at some point between January and the show, I would assume.
Yeah, I just don't know like if it's fair to rate their stuff from 96 and 97 into a build to this match.
No, I would at least factor in 98 and 99 though, because that feels like these characters on their march to this moment. Like 96 and 97 are more incidental. So like to me, from fully loaded 98 with the Nation versus DX, SummerSlam ladder match, corporate ministry, fully loaded, like Survivor Series, it all feels like we're building to this moment. Their one-on-one world title match they haven't had yet. So
yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to go with 7 on build.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Okay.
Aftermath now is the ding. So it's only a month to Judgment Day. I really don't remember too much of it beyond Big McMahon Helmsley. I think in this month is the Life Sucks and Then You Die Vince McMahon promo, which is pretty infamous.
Give a point for that.
Life sucks and then you die. It's either here or it could be after Judgment Day. I forget the actual date. It's during this run. But the hype to the Iron Man is good. I guess we'll talk about it next time more. But I remember all the can these guys pull it off? They're setting them up to fail. They can't do an hour. Like there was a lot of that talk going on as well. So I don't know. I mean, I like the angle.
I'm going to go with Gentleman's 5.
Oh, 5. All right.
Because I remember really liking the McMahon Helmsley. I don't remember what else they do. And so I don't want to ding it because I don't remember.
Right.
Then again, the argument could be if I don't remember how memorable it could have been because I was watching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll knock it down to a 4. That might be more fair.
All right, so that's a 59. So not much higher than Big Show Triple H.
No, that's not bad. Which we did last week, right?
Right. So that
tie with anything?
So it's going to put us at
tie.
16 overall.
Kind of surprising.
I actually thought it'd be higher.
That is.
Yeah.
But you know what? I actually don't mind that it's not higher because as I was putting my scores in, it's weird. My relationship with this match is a bit strange, right? It's like I don't dislike it, but I don't view it as the classic that a lot of other people do.
Right.
And because I'm not so married to this like period of time, like because I wasn't watching the pay-per-views, I just don't hold it in the same esteem. And as we were rating it higher and higher, I was like, oh, this is going to finish high, but I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought maybe it would because of the Austin the moment, but what hurts it is the aftermath.
Yeah,
for sure. There's really not, and it's not that significant of a title run. So I think those are the two things that really hurt it. Everything else is very high. So if the reign meant more or the follow-up, if they don't do the double switch at Judgment Day King of the Ring, and this is just Rock's run till the end of the year, we probably bump the significance way up, or the aftermath, I should say, way up. So
look, this gets another 10 to 12 points, and it's in the top 10, right?
So, yeah. So it's a great showing. I mean, it's a top 16 title change so far.
Yeah.
It's a very good company.
Is this our 60th? How many have we done?
No, it's 55, right?
55. Okay.
Yeah. So out of 55, it's number 16. So it's right below Bret Hart and Yokozuna from WrestleMania 10, which is crazy, and right above Austin Kane from Raw, below Breakdown. So it's kind of in that range.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay. All right. Let's do our top 10. and then we will book it out of here.
Absolutely. So nothing changes. Number 10 is still The Rock defeating Mankind from the Deadly Game tournament, 71 points.
Randy Savage or Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8, 72 points in 9th.
Number 8, Mankind defeating The Rock, January 4th, 99, Monday Night Raw, 72 points.
Steve Austin over The Rock at WrestleMania 15, 73 points in 7th place.
Andre the Giant defeating Hulk Hogan, 75 points, the main event, February 88.
Number 5, Hulk Hogan over the Iron Sheik, January 84, MSG, 76 points.
Yeah. Number 4, Ric Flair winning the 1992 Royal Rumble.
Number 3, we jump up all the way to 90 points. Bret Hart over the Undertaker at SummerSlam 97.
Number 2, Steve Austin defeating Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 14, 93 points.
And as of now, our number 1 title change of all time is Montreal. Bret Hart losing to Shawn Michaels, Survivor Series 97, 94 points. So
starting to think like nothing's going to ever top it.
I know. I think there's a couple of potential lingering.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big one about a year from where we are now, right?
That's right.
Probably the chance, I would assume. So we'll see. All right, we'll be back next week. We'll have our Ultimate Survivor Series build a card. We're going to go through all the Survivor Series of all time, pick a match from every card, and try not to reuse anyone.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. So stay tuned for that. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be back with the Iron Man match from Judgment Day 2000 as we continue on this project. Check out everything in North South Connection, audio, video, simulcast, and unique content as well. Follow us on all social media. You have something to say? Dookie's drop. We're out. Talk to you later.
Bye, Jackass.